morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Friday, number 9 day for this number 9 month for the year 2021. My name na Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief and the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Pass King, una own countryman. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program where we bring una meaningful information, the truth, fact-based analysis for help we as we waka through this journey for our freedom, the independence of Ambazonia. Good citizens of Ambazonia, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth III, is dead. Queen Elizabeth III, na the head of state for the Commonwealth, we include Ambazonia. Like her or not like her, judge the history of Great England or not, she has been a great inspiration to her own people. She is the reason the British people are civilized. She has been the standard bearer. Her family have provided the white man an image of a perfect family. The stories of the baby, of the queen, the princesses, and the prince. These are the biggest inspiration she has contributed in the life of many white people and for some black people that admires her. And we hope her inspiration and contribution to her society and their civilization should be an inspiration of us black people and our own royalty, our own kings, queens, chiefs, fawns should ask themselves, what role model are they to their own people? What inspiration and what contribution to our society do they have to offer? Will they be remembered for what they give to us and the society, or will they be remembered for what they have taken from the society and on behalf of the society? That is food for thought. Yesterday, number 8 Thursday, we get the highest participation in our community schools across Ambazonia, in particularly in Bamenda, where all Ambazonian community schools were full with our students in accordance with Ambazonian guidelines and Ambazonian authority. This has been the greatest defeat to La République du Cameroon, the complete loss of Ambazonian education to the hands of Ambazonia. They can take away the GCE board, they can take away everything they want from us, but they will never take our identity and our ability to rule over ourselves. Today, we can conclude and tell our people Ambazonian education is now under Ambazonian hands. We will enhance it, we will work on it from the baby step we started 3 years ago. Today, all Ambazonian schools, all Ambazonian community schools have accepted and committed to work under our authority and under our guidelines. This is the most sustainable policy towards education, as it is in line with the policy of our Charter for Children's and Women's Rights that guarantees education to our population. We will have to work hard to ban and uproot Cameroon government schools out of Ambazonia. Now that we have established this alternative and our people are returning back home to study within our communities, we now have to focus our attention on the illegal alien Cameroon government institutions within Ambazonia. Everywhere you have a Cameroon government school, it is no longer tolerable. It should be dug from the foundation. Any student who goes to a Cameroon government school, that family should be identified and should pay a fine for this violation and compromise of our territorial integrity. Any teacher who is a Cameroon government teacher who attends Cameroon government schools for teaching or to collect her salary will be considered a traitor who have participated to implement and enforce a foreign and alien rule and institutions against this aspiration of our people. It will be provocation to the highest order. All Ambazonian Defense Forces and our sister forces have been authorized to arrest and pursue any Cameroon government schools that resumes work or that venture around Cameroon government institutions across Ambazonia. we call on our general public to assist and to cooperate with our forces in this endeavor. We must keep Ambazonia clean. On the other hand, we have also witnessed areas that are controlled by the ARF or the IG forces, or they come in different names. Some are now adopting the name of Unity Warrior, some former AMF forces, whatever shapes and color they may be. Ambazonian is made of many factions, and we must appreciate and respect that fact. In their areas of control, they have tried to implement a lockdown that have been resisted by our people, despite the torture, using of live bullet against our innocent civilians. Our people continue to violate those orders and venture into their day-to-day businesses, and we are still calling on them to abandon that path. Any path that will put you direct confrontation with the vast majority of the population, you should know that you are now working against their interests. Think twice, think wise. The defeated Cameroon shamefully had stormed into GBH's downtown Bamenda, where only a couple of hundreds individuals, civilians, were in attendance, not even following the Cameroon government guidelines. They were forced to hold Cameroon flags against their will. Their teachers fought with Cameroon gendarmes who wanted to hoist Cameroon flag, a symbol of terrorism and oppression to our people, against the will of our people. Parents have since pulled out their children from GBHS downtown, and we want to congratulate and encourage parents to do so all across Ambazonia. Their children shouldn't have been in those schools in the first place. In Meme, where you have the home of General Bitakola, Cameroon government schools have been going on, and he should focus his attention to those areas. The colonial SDO in Meme have put the Cameroon instructions and guidelines as a law, saying that every student must put on uniforms in Meme, and some students in the Cameroon government schools in Meme have put on uniforms, while Bitakola calls on other soldiers to enforce this lockdown that is meant to stop Cameroon government school. He should start from where he is. Stop all Cameroon illegal government school in the great state of Meme. We will join you in that fight. That is the right fight, and that is the good fight. We have seen images of no other person but General Lucifer, the former henchman of Sako, who is noted for using live bullet on our people each time they violate lockdown.
Yes, as you can see, that is Spa FM for Ghost Town. Machine they still work, so it won't cheat their fuck up.
In the video, we'll release the video that they have sent to us. You could see General Lucifer torturing civilians severely. And this is our advice to all Ambazonian forces. The principle of proportionality must apply. Take example to the ADF soldiers. When our lockdown was violated, civilians were beaten up, they were released, and they were told of their crime. Some vehicles were seized, and some were burnt. No civilian was killed, no civilian was taken into custody because of the violation of that law. In our confrontation with differences with other soldiers, we have done the same. Sometimes we have arrested them, interviewed them, and released them. We must be proportional because, as they say, when injustice becomes law, resistance will become the duty of our citizens. This do not only apply to La Republic, it also applies to Ambazonia. Every force must always consider the magnitude of a crime to be able to prescribe the type of punishment that will be suitable. We have always proposed the use of corporal punishment when necessary in proportion according to the situation on the ground. The policy of proportionality must be adopted by all forces. It is unlawful, it is wrong, it is counterproductive to use live bullet on your own citizens, killing your own citizens in trying to impose upon them a law that is not sensible, that is not justified, that is driven not by popular interests, but by greed and ego and the challenge of other forces. I will want to seize this opportunity to apologize to General Maddock in a video footages that was recorded by General Vulture. in the great state of Bui, where he says they are going to do lockdown, whether it makes sense or not. In that audio, in my presentation, I had mentioned General Mad Dog as being the author of that video. He was not. As a matter of fact, General Mad Dog have been reasonable to even question the whole issue of lockdown. It didn't make sense to him. And to that, I want to take the opportunity to tell our people, we of the ADF, we are the initiator and the part of the creation of the Bui Unity Warrior. The Bui Unity Warrior, I speak on behalf of the Bui Unity Warrior. Nobody can speak on behalf of the Bui Unity Warrior out of the memorandum of understanding that we have with the forces of General Mad Dog, who are the splinter force of the Bui Unity of the Bui Warrior. The Bui Warrior was split into two. The splinter, that means the forces that follow General Mad Dog, are a party to the Unity Warrior. The ADF is an equal party. It is a joint platform, not a force. We had agreed in writing and orally that every time an operation is carried out by the forces of the splinter Bui Warrior group under General Mad Dog or his associate, that actions will be labeled as actions carried out by the ARF or the forces of General Mad Dog, not the Unity Warrior. The same goes to the ADF. Every time an action or operation is undertaken by the Ambazonian Defense Forces Bui Brigade, those actions and activity must be attributed only to the ADF. But when joint operations are conducted, then it will be appropriate to attribute it to the Bui Unity Warrior. That was a platform for reconciliation and to facilitate collaboration. It was never meant to bring everybody under one command, one structure, as we have seen. Money raised in the name of Bui Unity Warrior have not been proportionally shared according to our memorandum of understanding. There have been individuals who have come there to transform it into a political structure, to impose it as a force, because the whole idea of them has been for political relevance that do not come by their own actions, but come at the expense or as a means to bring down other people. That will not work. Bui Unity Warriors is an ownership, is a property, partially by the ADF, and it will remain that way. Anybody who speaks on behalf of Bui Unity Warrior without the authority of the ADF is doing so illegally, wrongly. Anybody attributing the name Bui Unity Warrior without following the protocol set in place by the Memorandum of Understanding is bringing confusion and is bringing division. The problem we have always had in Ambazonia is that people make agreement and turn their back on it. People do not have honor or respect to their words and commitment. We should do better. Ambazonians should know that all along we have been preaching the same gospel in the governing council, that no single faction can lead or deliver Ambazonian independence alone. We need to collaborate. That was the preaching we had been since from the day of Skakuf, and that is why we formed the Skakuf. Till today, we say the same thing. We must collaborate. Ambazonian will never be united in the terms of coming together as one man under one group, under one commander. That will never happen because we are a diverse people. No people fighting for decolonization were under one umbrella and under one commander. It is always diverse, but there have always been mechanisms where collaboration can exist. We must collaborate. We need each other. For any group of people to gather and call themselves they represent ground zero or they represent the whole nation, it is wrong, it is illegal, and it undermines the rights of other people, and it will never work because we need each other, because we need to collaborate. Those who may not be as effective or competent or strong or big than the others should never see it as a weakness for them. They should continue to seek collaboration. The biggest obstacle we have had in enforcing collaboration is this inferiority in other people or the perceived arrogance to those who are more competent. This shouldn't be the case. Patriotism should drive us because the stakes are too high. But if you think that because you are needed, if you think because the leading organizations and the leading movements need you for us to be able to be effective in our prosecution of this liberation, and you use that need as a leverage as an ego to say that they must come and bow to you. It will also not work, because it also takes a big pride for somebody to stand up for national pride and for nationalism. We will not beg anybody. Everybody who is truly patriotic will see the need for them to open up for collaboration. We will not need to go after anybody or compromise our principles that have made us who we are simply because we want to bring somebody in. They too must want to come in. As they say, it takes two to dance, bottle dance. All Ambazonian leaders, activists must be patriotic, must be rational, must accept debate, must also accept that they need each other for this to work. All Ambazonian leaders should not expect anybody to beg them, but they should do the right thing. It goes to our forces on the ground. All Ambazonian forces of the ARF who have been victim of their representative who sits in their leadership in the diaspora should not label the whole diaspora for the crimes of their own leaders simply because they are ashamed or they feel bad to approach those who have been effective and have been true to their own fighters. They by themselves must demonstrate patriotism in seeking for collaboration. True collaboration. They must gather for what they can do, not for who they can oppose. We should be driven by our need for collaboration, enhancement, for a better and more easy prosecution of this war. The Ambazonian general public have demonstrated patriotism and the resilience to resist La République du Cameroon and to tolerate any excesses that comes from our forces. Our forces must acknowledge this patriotism. The ghost town that was effective in Victoria this Monday should send a powerful message to all Ambazonia forces. Our people stands for independence and they will not back off. You only need to talk to our IDPs and refugees to know that our people are determined to have their freedom. But they are also determined to reject any excesses and things that do not represent their culture or their conduct. But they will accept anything that is in line with reasonable prosecution and reasonable policy in this liberation war. We must be sensible, we must be reasonable, and we must be people-centric, because at the end of the day, whatever we are doing for our country and for our people. Capo Daniel, signing off.